Be sure to check out Touhou Volleyball Danmaku. More info at the end of the video.
If you want to dine with the devil, you'll need a long spoon.
Even though it's a harsh winter, your house is very warm.
That's because of Clown Piece. She naturally produces heat enough to heat up this place.
Oh right, that fairy who lives in the basement. It feels nice not having to turn into a frozen statue all winter long. You can only take so many dogs peeing on you before you get fed up with it.
That statue was you?
Oh, Miss Reimu, I cannot sleep. Please tell me a bedtime story.
All right, come over here. Autumn has passed, and winter has come. It's a good thing we prepared. We should be thankful for all the nice things we have, even if it's a run-down shack that is falling apart, with the added risk that one night, as you soundly sleep, one of these heavy beams supporting the ceiling can snap and fall on your head, instantly killing you.
What are you getting at?
I'm talking about our crops this year. It wasn't easy getting those veggies. There were times I wanted to give up, but I persisted until I could manage to have a harvest, and my persistence paid off in the end. We have a bountiful feast that will last us the winter.
But you did give up. You ended up telling Marissa to steal them from the market.
I gave up growing them myself. I never gave up acquiring them by any means. And that is why I want you to understand that hard work pays off, because this reminds me of a story. So listen as I tell you the story about the diligent and foolish goddess. This story is about two goddesses. One was a foolish goddess who did nothing but play all day, while the other one kept diligently working. The foolish goddess told the diligent one to stop working and play with her, but the diligent one kept nagging her about how if she kept fooling around, she will be left with nothing during winter. But the foolish goddess kept on saying that winter was a long time away. It would be a waste if all she did was work. So the diligent goddess continued to work hard on her harvest, while the foolish goddess did nothing but play all season. And then winter came, and we all know what happened next. The diligent goddess, who worked hard all season, is probably now sitting in her house, all nice and warm, with plenty of food to help her get through to the winter, while the foolish goddess was kicked out of her sister's house for being a bum, and was lucky enough that she found herself here before she became the next statue the dogs peed on.
I lost track of time! I lost track of time!
Once again, another winter has come, and I emerge from my slumber, free to do as I wish, for the next 3 to 4 months. I might as well make the most of it. Shouldn't there be more snow than this? And why is it warm? It should be getting colder. Hey, you silly fairy, what are you doing? It's the beginning of winter.
Oh no, miss! We're as fast in spring has begun!
What? You must be joking. What did she mean by winter has passed when I just woke up from hibernation? Could it be? Could it really be? Did I oversleep? No, that can't be right. I always wake up just as winter approaches, but how do I explain this?
I tried the new shampoo
hair smells like hot dogs.
What do you mean, hot dogs? Stop saying them things.
Shouldn't you three be wearing winter clothing? It's going to get cold, you know?
Hey, Letty, you finally awoke from your hibernation.
We were just about to meet up at Eternity's place. She's probably going to wake up soon as well.
And who is Eternity?
Oh, that's right. You never met her because she's usually active during summer.
That's not true. She gets up during spring, which is why we're visiting her, because it's spring.
Spring? Stop fooling around. It's winter.
Where have you been? Winter has already ended.
Impossible. It can't be spring because I just woke up.
Maybe you overslept.
No, this is not right. I always wake up when winter arrives. You children shouldn't be telling such lies.
Children? We're not children anymore. We are now grown-up.
Grown-ups?
That's right, we hit puberty, so we are now adults.
Puberty? What is this nonsense coming from you fairies?
It's true, we are now officially adults, so you have to respect us like adults. So give us some money.
Forget it. I don't have time to deal with childish games. It can't be spring now. It's just not possible. It's always been this way. When my hibernation ends, winter arrives. So how could it be that I slept through the only season that I awaken? It just can't be true.
Where have you been? I only found you because the 3 fairies told me you were around here.
I've had enough of fairies for one day. So why don't you go fly a kite, Cirno? I'm trying to figure out what is going on here. I slept for the majority of the year, and yet my powers feel so weak, which shouldn't be possible. The beginning of winter should start invoking them, yet it feels like they are actually waning. Maybe I really did oversleep throughout the winter, but that doesn't sound right either.
Yeah, that must be it. I mean, this year's winter was really short, wasn't it? It felt like it only lasted an entire month, all 24 days.
A month?
Yeah, it was the craziest thing. Winter had actually come earlier than expected, but just as quick as it came, it eventually ended, and now we're about to start spring early as well.
Are you serious? So I didn't oversleep, but instead winter arrived and exited earlier than expected?
Yeah, it's pretty amazing if you think about it. Everyone else is celebrating the coming of spring early, though I prefer the cold season, of course. Ooh.
This can't be. I can only survive during the coldest months of the year. Why has it been shortened? Wait, that incident, when the winter lasted longer than usual, could it be that nature is finally rectifying that incident by shortening this year's winter? But what about me? Why must I go back to hibernation so soon?
Hey, are you okay?
Don't you understand, Cirno? I only get 4 months of the year, 5 if I'm lucky. The rest of the year, I have to be in a deep sleep because I'm incapable of surviving even a warm sunny day. That means that I only have a few months to enjoy my life, but now I don't even get that. Why even bother getting up when I have to go back into my slumber? And is this going to continuously happen? Will next winter be just as short?
Calm down, Letty.
Don't tell me to calm down. Just leave me be. I can't believe it. I still can't believe it. How could winter get cut so short? I'm very frustrated about this. But this is how my life is. The life of a Yuki-onna. At least a Yuki-onna by Gensokyo's standards. I have no choice but to accept that this year's winter has been cut short. I have to return to hibernation whether I want to or not. But I still have time, don't I? I'd say I have a week at most. If that is the case, then I won't lament any further, but instead I will make the most of it. I will just enjoy myself with what little time I have.
Hello, Cirno.
Hey, Okina, how's it going?
Oh, I'm just perusing Pixief on my laptop. So what can I do for my favorite little guinea pig?
I need your help, Okina. Well, actually, I have this friend who needs your help. Her name is Letty, and she can only come out during the winter, but winter was cut short this year.
I presume you mean Letty Whiterock, the one who cannot live even on a warm summer day. She can only live during a period that is as frozen and desolate as her heart.
Yeah, that's her. I was hoping that you could do something about her inability to be outside when it's warm, or maybe even bring back winter.
I'm afraid I can't do anything about the weather. I did try that one time, remember? But as far as helping your friend, I may be able to do something about that. How about you meet me in the land of the back door? We can discuss matters there.
I'm already in front of a door.
My subordinates will give you access, but I'll be there a bit later, so wait for me there.
All right, I'll meet you there.
It's just a coincidence, but maybe this is a sign. But it doesn't matter what I think. I was going to see if I could influence her anyway, and if she is friends with Cirno, then it will just make things easier. In that case, it is time to put my grand design into action. Once I get the information from Cirno, I'll see this Letty woman personally. I can't wait to finally meet her. She has a very nice big pair of breasts. I want those 2 giant pillows on my face.
I may not have much time left, but that doesn't mean I can't enjoy myself. I'll make the most out of it before the weather gets warmer in the next few days. I'll start by having a nice tepid udon soup at that restaurant. Even a Yukiona needs a nice warm meal, but not too warm, just enough.
Here is your tempura udon.
Hold on a minute. I said I wanted it tepid.
Tepid.
A bit colder than lukewarm. This is steaming hot. The steam alone is literally going to kill me.
Sorry about that. We don't get that many customers ordering cold soup.
I didn't say cold. I said tepid.
Well, whatever that means, I don't know how cold that is. But you can just wait till it cools down to your liking.
All right, fine. I'll just cool it down with my breath. Looks like I'm having chilled noodles again.
Hey, Patchouli. I got a situation here. Letty wants to go into the library.
Let me talk to her.
Hello, Patchouli. I'd like to have access to the library.
It's a bit of a surprise to hear you when it's so close to spring, but then again, winter was cut short this year. I wouldn't have thought you were going to make your appearance.
I do have a few days left and I want to make the most out of it. I would like to get some books to entertain myself.
Do you recall the times when you came to my library?
Whenever there's a storm or some dangerous weather that keeps people indoors.
Correct. Weather phenomenon that only a Yukiana such as yourself can actually traverse. In fact, I would dare say some of them was your doing.
I sometimes dabble with the weather from time to time.
Yes, which means that we had to close the library to the public. But since you are a special case, and the library got too cold, I made an exception and allowed you access.
And I'm thankful for that, just as I am now.
Not so fast. It's a nice day and it's going to remain sunny for some time. That means we already got visitors inside. Visitors who need it to be warm in order to, live.
It doesn't have to be that cold. Just cold enough that your fingers feel numb, that's all.
That would still require visitors to wear winter clothing, which everyone has already put away. Nobody is going to take out their winter clothing just to visit the library.
Can't you close the library for one day so I can enjoy myself?
I wish I could, but when the library opens and closes is up to Emilia, and much to my chagrin, she wants it open to the public.
Then how about closing hours? There will be nobody there.
You don't seem to understand that I would rather have nobody in my library. I should be lucky that Remy allows me to close it for the night. And even if you somehow convinced me to let you in during closing hours, I'm not going to lower the temperature to sub-zero just for you. My books will be damaged if I do that.
So that's it? I can't read any books?
You can try the bookstore in the human village.
Those books are too expensive to rent. I can't afford anything. Besides, the Red Monster frequents that place.
Red Monster? Oh, but in any case I can't accommodate your frigid needs.
There's got to be a way for me to enter the library. After all, I have a library card.
Have you thought about using a personal fan? Maybe that might work.
That may not be too bad of an idea. If I can get Cirno to join me, then she can provide me
Cirno
with...
has been banned from my library.
She has?
There was a certain episode where she was late in bringing a book she checked out. Too bad for her that each book has a magic incantation running on a timer, and you don't want that timer to go to 0.
Then can I at least check out some books? I can send someone else with my library card.
That's no good either. I don't know how you're walking around when spring is around the corner, but with the weather getting warmer, I have a feeling that you won't be able to return my books before you have to hibernate again. Remember the timer. If you don't know what spaghettification is, I suggest you don't find out the hard way.
Hibernate. I see no point in continuing this charade. Of course I'm not going to be able to enjoy myself. I need the full season of winter in order to do so. Why must I only be allowed during the coldest season? Why can't I just be like everyone else and walk at any time of the year? This is not fair. It's not my fault I'm like this. I wonder if my presence in Gensokyo is even needed. What if I just disappeared into oblivion? Would my non-existence have consequence?
Trust me, honey. You have no idea how important you are. I keep forgetting to get the lock fixed on that particular door.
What is going on? Cirno, do you know this woman?
I am beyond a mere woman, for I am a goddess. Goddess of the world of the back door. Goddess of destiny and stars. Goddess of theater, actors and performers. Goddess of the handicap, both mental and physical. Goddess of outcasts, pariahs, nonconformist, geeks and dweebs, deviants, the perverse, the deranged, the degenerate, and anyone else who makes an account on DeviantArt. I am the main patron goddess of many who society deems unfit. Cross-dresser, transsexuals, and the recently created non-binary, gay, lesbian, incest, lolicon and shotaken, furries, and the most depraved of them all, Hispanics from Los Angeles.
In other words, you're the goddess of the things other gods wouldn't want to touch with a 1,000,000,000-foot pole.
Well, that was rude of you to interrupt me, but it's fine. You can read my other 10,000+ roles on my LinkedIn, which I'm also a goddess of.
So why is a goddess visiting me?
Your friend Cirno told me about you and I just had to meet you.
I wouldn't call Cirno my friend. She's more of an acquaintance. I just know her.
But it must be so nice to have someone who cares so much about you. After all, you cannot survive outside the winter season. Too bad that it was cut so short this year.
Do you know something about this year's winter?
It's hard to say, but I did fiddle around with the seasons a bit about a decade ago. You see, I am a secret goddess, but even I need worshippers in order to live, so in order to get the faith I need to sustain myself, I tend to do a little trolling every now and again, and the incident that happened around that time kind of altered the seasons a teeny bit.
So you were the reason this year's winter was cut short?
Perhaps, but the seasons have been tempered with from time to time, and when it does, Gensokyo herself has to rectify everything. So who knows, maybe the fix-up was delayed. After all, this summer had a blistering heat wave and autumn was also colder than usual. One can never tell by the way Gensokyo was built.
I don't understand. What are you trying to tell me?
What I'm trying to say is that this beautiful land of Gensokyo is barely keeping itself from falling apart. This fantasy world that we live in, it's too fragile for its own good. At least nowadays. But I'm sure you at least know that Gensokyo was part of the outside world at some point until Yukari came along and annexed the whole place because she felt like it. That's right. Yukari decided to separate Gensokyo from the outside world when people started losing faith in the mystic, the cosmic, and the spiritual, and started giving their faith to the scientific and the mechanical. Humans no longer believed in yokai, and with the lack of their fear, yokai were in danger of disappearing forever. Including the Tengu, which we all know would have been a great loss. What I'm trying to say is that Gensokyo's separation from the outside world also separated it from the very foundation it was running on. The air we breathe, the gravity that keeps us grounded, all of these natural aspects were provided by the outside world, and these aspects that Gensokyo needs to sustain itself were once delivered by spirits and deities. But when the outside world became secular and replaced divination with science, Gensokyo lost its very foundation of existence. Perhaps Yukari saw this coming and decided to separate both worlds in order to preserve it. But separating Gensokyo from the outside world meant separating it from its support. Yukari needed to replace the very same spiritualism that kept it thriving. Meaning she needed the power of the ancient gods, the very gods that once provided the logic behind how the world kept turning. So she went up to them and pitched her idea to create a separate world where they would continue to be worshipped. Bishamante, Inari-Okami, Amaterasu, and every other god of the Japanese pantheon, they all rejected her offer. Despite her many talents, Yukari was not a very good spokeswoman. Now she needed to go with her backup plan. She needed a pantheon of her own, starting with sages to keep things in check. This cadre would include the Gap Hag herself as the chief advisor. Along came the second sage, one who is very strong. As strong as an Oni, you could even say, but don't tell her that, as she is too humble to admit it. But she is also full of wisdom, beauty, a spunky attitude, and deep love for all living things. She is a sage who cares for humans, animals, and yokai alike, never discriminating between them, and her speeches may bring ire to those who have to hear them, but she does so because she truly loves Gensokyo. Yukari made the right choice in picking her to look after this wonderful world of ours. The third sage chosen was Kasen.
That's quite the history lesson, but what does this have to do with me?
Oh, honey, this has everything to do with you, can't you already see? As I've said, everything natural in Gensokyo needs a divine aspect that makes it run, and the 4 seasons are no exception. Spring, summer, autumn, winter. There is nothing in Gensokyo that allows the 4 to be. They too need an outside power in order to exist. But as I've explained earlier, the ancient gods could care less about what they themselves see as nothing more than an empty lot. So Yukari had a brilliant plan. If she can't get the ancient Japanese gods to come to Gensokyo, then she'll just replace them with good enough versions of them. So instead of Mighty Bishamante, we now get the dollar store version, show. Instead of Amaterasu, we instead get a walking time bomb that will ironically be the end of Gensokyo. And this is where we get to the 4 seasons. The fairy lily white was ordained the power of spring. For summertime. Cirno has been blessed with that power from a very generous goddess who trusts that she will one day defeat the evil who dares take summer for herself.
I don't remember that part.
As for autumn, that role was given to the Aki sisters. 2 nobodies that nobody cares about. That leaves us with winter.
And who is the one in charge of winter?
Haven't you guessed?
No.
Let me give you a clue. She is a Yuki Onna with tremendous power over the coldest season. She can summon wild storms by her whim alone, but this power can only manifest during winter, and no other time.
Wow, she sounds exactly like me. I wonder if we are related.
I'm talking about you, Letty.
What are you talking about? I'm just an ordinary yokai. I'm not a goddess.
But what other yokai represents winter so well? After all, Yuki Onna are known to control winter storms, a perfect fit.
But I'm not the only Yuki Onna. Why not the others? Who are off-screen?
Because you are the most powerful of them all. I don't recall where I heard this, but it is said that if you were to utilize your full potential, you could cause an incident.
This all sounds ridiculous. I don't recall agreeing to anything of the kind.
Well, much like myself, Yukari didn't bother with the trivial matter of consent. In fact, you are not supposed to know any of this. I have as much consent to reveal this to you, as I have when watching Yukari sleeping and getting a little something before I leave, and I'm not talking about something from the fridge.
So what you are saying is that I'm some kind of conduit for winter?
Pretty much. Yukari really thought out this plan for the 4 seasons, even if it's the equivalent of repairing a sinking ship with duct tape and gum.
And by this, are you saying that I'm the reason winter was shortened?
Perhaps. It's hard for me to discern how the 4 seasons exists through the likes of you and your peers. This is less of you having the power of winter and more like being a walking and talking magical and mystical pylon. All I know is that it's passive. You 4 have no control over anything, but I can change that, by accessing the door on your back.
The door? On my back?
Cirno, why don't you demonstrate your back door with a 7-frame animation of you turning around? Everything has a back and every back has a door. I have the power to access this back door, and when I do, I perform my wonders. Oh, I'm sorry, I meant my blessings. My wonders is a sexual euphemism I tend to use that also requires you to be on your back. And on all 4s. But what I mean is that when I have access to your back, your untapped potential can be fully realized, and in your case, I can not only give you access to the full power of winter, but I can even give you the ability to survive outside of it. With my power, you may walk among the rest of society even during the hottest summer day.
You can do that.
Of course I can. I did that with Cirno, and I can do it to you. Just turn around and let me have access to your back door.
I'm going to have to pass. No particular reason, I'm just not going to accept. Cirno, can I talk to you for a moment in private?
Yeah, sure.
If it's okay, I would like to talk to Cirno first.
Well, all right.
Before you go, I want to give you a little gift.
A gift?
You've been a good girl, allowing me to experiment on you. You are the strongest fairy after all. But for your safety, in order to access your back door, you need my permission. That is why I decided to forego any safety precautions and just allow you to access your back door whenever you want. This is the key to your back door. You now have access to the unlimited potential that I have bestowed upon you.
For real? Wow.
Now run along and meet up with your friend Letty.
Alright, thanks Okina.
Wow. So that was Letty Whiterock. Man, she's got a bigger ass than I could possibly imagine. It's hard to tell because of her dress, but she's got some junk in the trunk. I want those 2 giant pillows on my—
Cirno, who was that woman?
She was a goddess who was causing some problems years ago. Something about a secret and coming out of the closet or something. Probably the door was locked. But yeah, she was doing some bad things, probably having to do with that closet business. But I managed to defeat her and stop her plans.
You defeated her?
Yeah, she was spreading this magic everywhere, but it gave me superpowers, and I managed to chase after her and defeated her. Yeah, that's right, I tamed this power and took down the evil and became a hero. And she promised to never do anything evil ever again, and now we're friends.
Cirno, I don't think you should be friends with her anymore. I have a terrible feeling about her. I don't think she's being honest with you. I have this really uncomfortable feeling about her.
What makes you uncomfortable about her?
For one thing, she kept eyeing my chest the whole time we were talking.
Don't worry. If she does anything bad, I'll just defeat her again like last time.
I'm still dubious of your statement's authenticity, but I guess that's because I wasn't around for those events.
Is this the reason why you didn't accept her offer?
Pretty much, but I will be honest. For a brief moment, when thinking about finally being able to walk outside during the warmer months, I did feel tempted to say yes. I wonder, if someone else offered me such a power, would I have accepted it under those circumstances?
Hey, Letty. I'm your friend, right?
Would it make you feel better if I said yes, even if there is no emotional connection because I merely stated a word and nothing more?
Yeah?
Then, under those circumstances, I will say yes.
Alright, thanks, Letty.
You know what this is, right? This is a brooch in the shape of the chemical symbol for silver.
You're giving this to me?
No, I'm entrusting you with it. Once my hibernation ends next winter, return it to me.
But it's kind of sad that you have to go so soon.
It is lamentable that I must hibernate, for that is the nature of a Yukiona.
So how's it like to be asleep for the majority of the year?
I guess it's peaceful, except for the times that I get up.
For the times that you get up?
There are times in the day when I'm deep in my slumber and I just wake up. During that time, I enjoy recreation until my sleep returns to me. It's a strange phenomena that happens to me every few days, mostly during the daylight hours, and I tend to return to my slumber during the night on the same day. I guess it's just something that happens exclusively to me.
What a pity that she didn't accept my offer. That goes for the other seasonal goddesses. But it's still not much of a loss because I still have Cirno. Over time, her power will grow larger and larger, to the point where that devious caterpillar's power will be overwhelmed, and I will be much closer to accessing the power of the in-between seasons. But it's strange, this feeling. As if something bigger is coming my way. I wonder what this hunch could be. Hello, baby.
Uff. Do you ever turn off that perverse brain of yours?
Do you think that my brain would turn off so easily when my thoughts are all about my eternally 17-year-old girlfriend?
Your brain must be in a constant state of entropy. Maybe that's what Ludwig Boltzmann was talking about. But I'm not here to argue a pointless debate. I'm having an emergency meeting.
An emergency meeting?
We need to talk about the state of Gensokyo. Something's been happening lately and I need to know if you've been noticing anything, but we can discuss that later. I already informed Carson, so you better be there. I'll send you the location of the meeting.
An emergency meeting out of nowhere, and Yukari sounded kind of critical there for a moment. Satono, my. Something is happening in Gensokyo. Survey the lands and report if you find any anomalies. I still need proof that something is happening, but I could have sworn I heard a hint of panic in Yukari's tone of voice. And if that is the case, then I better proceed. The gears may finally be turning in my favor. I just need to know what the trigger is, and I might just find it during this emergency meeting. Until then, I'll just continue with my original plans. I'm going to resume Phase 0 and go through my list of parties of interest, starting with the next character I was aiming for after Letty. To think that all of a sudden, the time has finally come. My master plan that I've been planning for centuries. If you guys thought that little stunt I pulled in the Four Seasons incident was an inconvenience, then you haven't seen anything yet. From this point forward, everything will change.
What's up, guys? It's your girl Compact Cirno. Thanks for checking out the latest video, the last in the Gensokyo 4 seasons series. Can you believe that it took an entire year to complete the series? Now, if only he can actually do that with the other 10,000 series Compact Touhou created. Speaking of large numbers that are past 20, which means I can't count that high because I only have so many fingers, the channel had just recently reached 10,000 subscribers. To think so many people enjoy our content, but I'm sure it's because you're tuning in for me, right? Yeah, this video is gonna get another 10,000 subs probably thanks to me being here. Compact Emu needs to feature me in more videos. The people have spoken. But a special mention goes out to our most loyal supporters on Patreon, Ko-fi, and our YouTube members. Without you, this channel wouldn't exist. Seriously, you guys are awesome. And you know what else is awesome? Volleyball! That was my best attempt at a segue. You know the drill by now, Compact Yumu's got a brand new game, Touhou Volleyball Danmaku, a super cool concept of mixing volleyball and bullet hell with your favorite characters, including me, who is the star of the game. I'm sure my position in the character select screen being a bit off the default player 1 position will be eventually fixed. But aside from the best feature of being able to play as the OP Ice Fairy, there will be a single story campaign where you will have to solve the latest incident. Yeah, it's gonna be just like a shonen manga, if that manga was in the shape of a volleyball and you could hit people with it. There will be more features, including mini-games, local verses, and a classic arcade mode. And if that isn't enough for you, the game will also have future updates as the game continues to be developed after release, including more characters, more game modes, and even online to play against people around the world. And the best part is that these updates are going to be free. So if you haven't checked it out yet, go to the Steam store page and download the latest demo, and never forget to wishlist, as the game is coming out this summer.